Rich Ottoy from Assertive Yield, an ad tech that was set up for publishers by publishers. Can you tell me a little bit more about who are the publishers that set this up?
Yeah, that's right. So our CEO and founder, a gentleman called Niels Lind, he originally was a publisher himself.
Right. Okay.
And he, when he was running his websites, he found that there wasn't really the analytics, the BI tools out in market that were sufficient for how he wanted to manage his audiences and his business. So he built his own analytics platform, and it proved to be so successful that he then started to offer that to other publishers, and Assertive Yield was born. So that was about 7 years ago now.
So as you can see from the backdrop, we're here in Cannes for the Cannes Lions Festival. What sort of conversations have you been having here this week?
So we are publisher supply side tech product.
Right.
So a lot of our conversations are with publishers as well as sell side tech companies, things like that. So a lot of the conversations have been around how we can help publishers sort of restabilize their business, grow their revenues. I think it's probably been quite well documented over the last 12 months that publishers are in a bit of a tough spot at the moment.
Yeah.
The search LLMs have been pretty disruptive. So
the LLMs, the large language modeling.
Yep.
Yeah.
So they are now obviously pulling content from publishers to populate the overviews within search, which is resulting in less people clicking on websites, web links within the search pages, resulting in less traffic going to publishers' sites. And obviously then there's a smaller monetization opportunity.
Is this a kind of copyright theft, or is it not? Is
No,
it a grey area?
It is a grey area, and basically what happens is obviously these crawlers are going to websites to then pull various data and information, content, etc. from those websites. Only up until recently, there's now the tools for publishers to be able to manage that in terms of which crawlers are coming to their sites, who they're going to allow to crawl their websites, who they're going to block, or who they're going to say, actually, if you want my content or my data, we need to enter into a contract and you've got to start paying for that. Right. So those tools and that control is now starting to become available. So publishers are testing with that to see how that all works.
It's I think 73rd year of Cannes Lions. Right. Is it still worth coming? Is it become more about technology and less about creativity, or?
No, I think still both. I think for me the importance of events like Cannes is in the world that we now live in and how a lot of businesses operate. Often a lot of our communication is over video calls and Slack and emails and stuff like that. So, and of course that's harder to establish relationships and build culture within your organisation and things like that. So these kind of events are really important where people can come together, particularly if you operate at a global level. Often there are people that you don't get to interact with on a daily basis or a monthly basis. This is an opportunity to reconnect with those people.
There are certain themes that have dominated this week, a lot of them around technology, but also that human element you were just alluding to there, the importance of still having human contact. Is that something you're very conscious of in the business at the moment, the human element coming back in?
Yeah, I think what's interesting with AI is, like 12 months ago, everyone in Cannes 2025 was talking about AI. That was still high on the agenda back then. And people back there were talking about, right, AI is coming, get ready. How do we start to learn how we're going to utilize AI within our businesses to become more efficient or whatever that might be? Now, 12 months later, everyone's in testing mode, right? How can we utilize AI to, if you're on the buy side, to build creatives, to optimize creative and your sort of creative decisioning, and then consolidate reporting, those kind of things. On the supply side with publishers, they're looking at how, again, they can consolidate reporting, RFP responses. There's a lot of automation in that. And of course, that's going to free up a lot of time for people. And lots of businesses, both on the publisher side and the agency side, are a bit lighter on resources these days. So that free time, I think, is going to become really interesting in terms of how people then reinvest that time, what they're going to do with it to continue to innovate and grow their business.
Do you think, and sorry if this is a difficult question, but is your industry empathetic enough and understanding enough of the problems that the publishers are really facing and the confusion they might be facing right now?
Yeah, I think, yes, I think so. I think, everyone knows that publishers, and certainly the premium open web publishers, they are very, very important to our industry, right? That quality journalism, that quality content is really important that obviously a lot of our industry relies on. So I think the buy side and technology companies are becoming aware of we need to support that if our industry is going to continue to thrive in the way it does. So yeah, I think that empathy is there.
What's going to be your takeaway from this week?
Well, I guess unsurprisingly, obviously a lot of conversation around AI. Again, obviously that disruption of AI to publishers in terms of that reduction in traffic to their sites and things like that. There's a couple of things for me. One is, as publishers now, they need to think about what's the commercial opportunity in terms of machines reading my content, as well as human visits to my website, right? So that, I think there needs to be some kind of balance and understanding of what that looks like. And then also from an AI point of view, I spoke about the automation. From a trading perspective, that's still very much in its infancy. So this is where you've got buy-side and buy-side and sell-side agents. The buy-side agents are querying sell-side agents to understand what that opportunity looks like and how can we buy that media. So on the publisher side, they need to really test and build and partner with people to understand, right, how do we get ourselves ready for that? What does that look like? Because now these agents need to be machine readable, right? So when they're queried, they need to, those buy-side agents need to be able to understand what the audience looks like, what is the content, what's the context, any kind of performance data that's in there, viewability, attention, those kind of signals. Pricing, deal terms, there's a lot of that information that's going to need to be available within that agent for the buy side to recognize that opportunity and start to buy that media. So there's a lot that we need to figure out there. And again, businesses have got to do that with limited resources. So of course, often they're turning to third-party tech at the moment for that support.